Yeah. Okay.
Dave Rubin. What interview?
We're interviewing Alex.
No, we're not interviewing Alex. We're just chatting with
We're just
Alex.
having a conversation.
Yeah, we're having a conversation.
We're introducing Alex to the Table Talk peeps.
We are.
Perfect.
Yeah. Welcome to Table Talk.
Because
with
they
us.
already know
Thank
who
you.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the one who
everybody
does all the talking.
Yeah.
I'm a professional.
He's a
That's what I'm-
professional talker. So you showed with us 2 months ago for the Memento Mori show,
Uh-huh.
curated by Chris Shears.
Yeah.
And you came to one of our busy openings for the first time.
Uh-huh.
It was a little insane.
Yes, it was.
I know.
Yeah.
We were talking with Josh Keys last month, and he said that he's never been to openings like our openings.
Yeah, they are packed.
Mm-hmm.
It's very intense.
And a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People are great.
Yeah.
And so the community, even though our artists are from local and all over the world, the community just really comes out to support.
So this is part of the joy of being an artist, is that in your studio you get to have weird stuff.
Yeah, one space that can have dead animals.
Your wife
and-
can't come in there
Yes,
and tell
yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
have that. This is my space.
Yeah, totally.
Greg, in our guest bedroom where people come and stay, he has a dead, it's probably decayed now, a praying mantis.
Oh, cool.
No, it was a dragonfly.
Oh, those are cool.
Well,
He tried to keep a gold bird yesterday, and I'm like,
A what?
the goldfinch bird.
Oh,
I'm like,
oh, that was very sad.
it just showed up? Or?
Our kitty
No,
got
a
it.
cat got
Oh.
it. And
But I know what his brain was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, I could just put this in my studio.
It
and-
needs me.
Yeah, it's exactly
dead
what it is. So
thing,
you think
yeah.
the same way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so does he.
everything, like when I go for a walk, I sometimes find some kind of weird object.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for something.
Yeah, yeah.
I find something. And there's a big difference because a found thing is something that speaks to you.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you're just going about moving through space, and all of a sudden something finds you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to bring that back to your space.
Yeah,
Because it has power. It had some kind of power.
yeah.
You know, and then in your case, you have a much more sophisticated tableau
Well, it's intense, yeah.
that it speaks to you almost it has almost a spiritual
Yeah.
intensity.
I had my mom, when I was a little kid, lived on this property that was owned by an old motorcycle mechanic named Dexter Bacon. And he collected all sorts of weird shit. And in his living room, his house was like Swiss Family Robinson style, just like crazily built. And he was a metal sculptor, so there were weird metal sculptures everywhere and weird half broken down motorcycles. And all the people in the neighborhood and he was out in the country, but they'd like drop their cars off there. So it was like crazy, weird old cars that were half dissolved into the ground. But in his living room, he had hanging from his ceiling all sorts of weird shit. But some of the shit was he always had goats, and when the goat would die, you would cut its head off and freeze dry it. And so he had these goats' heads that he knew every goat that was in there, and they were very special to him.
Yeah.
Hanging from the ceiling, and I was 6, and it was just normal to me. So I feel like that kind of inspired a lot of my work and the way that I keep my studio. And now in my studio, he died a couple of years ago now, and his daughter got a hold of me because she knew that I was one of the only people that would want to take a lot of this weird stuff that most people would never want in their house. So I have one of his goat's heads hanging from the
Do you know
studio.
the name of them?
Yeah, its name is shit. What is its name?
Edgar?
No, Solomon.
Solomon?
His name is Solomon.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah, it's very biblical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was your inspiration that started you down that path.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about it until
Yeah.
a few years ago. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
definitely
It also
th-
sounds
th-
like-
those are magic memories.
Yeah.
When you know,
Yeah.
when you see somebody that has the freedom to express themselves in
Totally.
the things that the environment that they create. When you're a kid and you see that, because everybody you're normally associated with
Yeah.
are all
Conventional and-
everything's got to be in its proper place, and you know.
Yeah, it just seemed normal to me. And then my mom was an oil painter, so my entire life she was painting in her studio. She studied at UC Davis with Wayne Thiebaud, so like
Wow.
that seemed
So
normal
you
to
have
me.
just been immersed in art from the beginning.
Yeah,
Nice.
and my dad too. My dad was a surrealist wood sculptor,
Oh, nice.
and he would do these super insane like female forms, and it was all hand carved too. It wasn't with a chainsaw or anything.
Do you have any of his sculptures?
molding? I do have a few. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
And your mom's paintings, do you have any of those?
I do.
Very good.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. You have any siblings?
Yes. I have a brother named Max on my dad's side, and then a sister named Catherine on my mom's side.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you were both mom and dad, and they're half and half.
Yeah.
There you
so
go.
together I have one sibling.
There,
Yeah,
I guess so. That's a
Yeah.
good way to look at it.
Yeah.
that's good. It's good to have siblings,
Yeah.
because only children are they're different. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have to roughhouse. They don't have to learn how to get beat down, and you know.
Yeah.
Greg grew up with 4 brothers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 boys.
My
That'll
younger
do it.
brothers claim I always beat them down, but
Which I
I
believe.
think they're exaggerating.
No.
You know. 'Cause I am pretty nonviolent.
That's good. I am too.
Most of the
he is.
time.
Well, you're
Yeah.
artists. Of course, you both are.
Yeah.
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 So,
We just get mad at ourselves. That's all.
Yeah, totally.
well, I think artists are harder on themselves than other people are.
Yeah.
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 I love your work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love your work.
Thank you.
I like the fact that your work has an element that it looks carved.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
carve, sort of the way the Gothic sculptures retain the carved edges instead of everything like Greek is always smoothed
No,
out.
it does have
Yeah.
a carved feeling to it.
Yeah, I love sculpture too.
Do you do sculptures?
I used to. I haven't done it in forever.
Oh,
There's too many steps.
too many steps.
Yeah. You need to have a kiln or know somebody has a kiln. Or,
Oddly enough, sculpture is also really hard to sell.
Yeah.
As a gallery,
Yeah.
we're learning that it's really, people love it. They want to look at it. They want to absorb it. It's hard to sell it though. 'Cause
Yeah.
people use the same excuse. I don't know where I'd put it.
I hate that shit.
I know.
That's one of my. You always hear that. I love it, but I don't know where I
Don't
put it
have
in my
any room
house.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that one a lot.
But you always got a little nook or cranny to stick a painting, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we have some collectors who have hundreds and hundreds of paintings.
So they're down to buying little smaller ones. So.
Yeah, and they always say,
Yeah.
I really can't buy another painting.
But sculpture is great because you create this thing and then you have the shadows and the light and
That's right.
you know.
I personally love sculptures, so my eyes
Yeah.
lit up when I heard you did sculptures.
Oh yeah.
So I love sculpture.
It's been a long time, but yeah.
So when I was young, Rauschenberg made these. He was the art of my childhood, and he made these things out of found objects because he lived in New York City, and people would dump stuff on the street. And like his most famous one is a goat with a tire around its neck. And I used to think that was just the coolest thing, you know,
Yeah.
because you could assemble stuff out of stuff you'd find.
Yeah, totally.
You didn't have to carve and do all the hammering and all that kind of stuff. You could make stuff by assembling junk. And I'm still in that space.
You like assemblage?
Yeah.
I'm a junk assembler.
And like you were saying too, you'll come upon shit that was not supposed to be artwork on its own somewhere. And you're,
If
this
I
is
wasn't
fucking
married,
genius.
I'd be that guy that with all the goat heads.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
he would. He
Yeah.
would. It's a good thing I keep it reined in.
Yeah.
But he has little tableaus throughout his downstairs
That's right.
of the house. And then the little found objects that he talks about, he collects boxes that we actually get at the Goodwill bins. And then he puts those little treasures in those boxes, and then he puts a token on top of a special.
When it's full.
When
Yeah.
it's full, and then he just
Cool.
gets
And then I start
another
another one.
box.
So it's very ceremonial.
Yeah,
So
we have multiple boxes.
and they're not, things in there are not necessarily intrinsically valuable.
Yeah.
Each one arrives to me in the random way that you find things.
Yeah.
They just, it's no fun if you look for stuff. What's fun is when it finds you.
Yeah.
Because then it has meaning. It's sort of like a stray cat wanders and starts following you around or something.
Yeah.
You know, and you go, oh, I probably should. Robin gathers strays. You know,
Yeah.
she's a,
I collect stray cats, stray humans.
yeah.
I
She trolls for them by putting food out there and stuff.
when I was a little kid, I went to like a flea market, and there was a lady selling shark teeth. And I asked her where she got the shark teeth, and she told me she just found them on the beach. And I believed her. And I now know she's full of shit. But because there were hundreds of shark teeth, she clearly ordered them online.
Right.
But after that, every time I went to the beach, I would just scour the sand for shark teeth. And I would never find shark teeth, but I would like find other things. And I'd always be so frustrated that I hadn't found the shark teeth. And then at one point I realized,
You're not going to.
I'm not going to find a shark tooth, but I found all this other stuff. I found like weird mink skulls and things,
wow.
and like all sorts of weird.
And you collected it.
Yeah,
And you
totally.
still probably have them.
Yeah, and I still want to find a shark tooth.
You will find a shark
There's
tooth.
got to be a great white tooth out there somewhere. So many sea lions.
No sea lion tooth.
I found a sea lion skull once.
Really?
That was cool.
Wow.
That would be good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have one whale tooth story. I lived, when I was real young, we lived on a bay, and my dad would row across the bay where there was kind of a little channel
Was
because
this on the East Coast?
nope, this
Here?
is in Shelton, Washington.
Oh,
There
okay.
was a bay, and these end cuts, since there was a timber mill further up the bay,
Yeah.
and they cut off the ends so they're flat, and then they just throw them in the water and they float around and they go up on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't have heating in our house, so my dad would row across, and he would put an eye hook in each one and put a rope around them, and he'd row these things back and then
Yeah.
cut them up into pieces. And one time, my brother, I wasn't allowed because I was too young to ride with them. And one time, my brother rode with them, and he found a killer whale tooth
Crazy.
on the beach, and it was just the most envious moment of
Yeah. Yeah.
my entire existence
Yeah.
that he could find that, and we would look at it. You know, it's like about that big.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you know, but not like a shark tooth because those are fossils and they're millions of years old
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah.
This was a
A fresh
one
tooth.
that one
Yeah.
that fell on.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And so that's my tooth story.
That's a cool tooth story. I like your tooth story.
And you want a great white shark's tooth.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point.
You'll get one.
I hope so.
You will.
Worst case scenario, you go to Florida. You can find them in Florida, some places.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You can go in the
There's a lot of
bottom.
fossilized teeth in Florida.
Yeah.
A lot of fossilized.
Yeah.
But you have to go to Florida.
Yeah, I don't want to go to
I don't
Florida.
Well, it's a
Florida.
long trip, but you know, you got to go where the fossils are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got fossils
We got
out
fossils here. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got total fossils.
We've got a lot of fossils. There's the John Day fossil bed,
here. Yeah.
which you're not allowed to take anything
I know.
anymore.
I'm actually
but-
going camping out that way. And
But there are areas in outside of the zone where you know there's still fossils.
yeah, it's out by the Painted Hills and stuff. It's beautiful
Yeah,
out there.
I'd like to go out there, but you know, I'm landlocked in Portland currently.
I know. Well, we got the rivers.
We got the rivers. And the problem, that's the thing about owning a gallery and being an artist at the same time, because he's got many shows lined up.
Yeah.
And then 2 weekends out of the month is you have show closing.
Uh-huh.
So then that night, at 8 o'clock that night, we start taking down that show on the first Saturday.
Yeah.
Then we start Sunday, and for the next several days, installing the new shows. And then the next Saturday is the opening. So there's 2 full weekends taken up
Yeah, it's nonstop.
every month.
And then that's how you count time.
Yep.
It's
It's the first and second weekend of the
Yeah.
month.
It can be a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're booked. The gallery is booked all the way through the end of 2026.
Crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I wish I actually had more months because there's so many more great artists I would love to show.
Yeah.
You know? And so excited you're showing with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then, I'm going to sneak you in a group show here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And before long, Robin will talk you into curating a show, and we'll get more dark
Oh, I'm
artists
super into
in
that.
there.
Oh, well, let me put you on the calendar for 27 then.
Yeah, I want to do I've been wanting for a long time to do a album art
I think that's-
invitational
Okay.
for all the artists that do the album art.
Nice.
Because it's sort of a select group of people that are connected by that one thing that they do.
So I'm thinking that we're going to do that in. So I want you to get this on your thought process because
Yeah.
time goes fast. I think we will do that in May of 2027.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You'll have a 4-year-old, I think, at that point.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And we'll do that small room,
Yeah.
which is not a small room. It's more wall space than than the east side of the gallery, believe it or not.
Cool.
It's just the way it looks.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
There we go. You got a pinky swear on that one.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah, you're doing
there
it.
goes your
Cool.
soul.
Deal.
It's gone.
So so then when
Yeah.
you start thinking about it, we'll put it in the high fructose and
Cool.
it'll be fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I will share a funny story with you. Greg has done album art before.
Yeah.
I have, but not cool
Not
like
like
yours.
your guys, it's cool.
No.
He did the scorpions.
Oh, I think that's cool.
I did a scorpion.
Holy shit.
He
I
did
think
the
that's
one with
super cool.
the scorpion tail on the girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's rad, actually. I like the Scorpions.
Yeah.
And then I did.
We actually had their guitar player play here, their original guitar player play here a few months ago.
Yep. And he's done,
Well,
magazines.
because I
books.
started my career as an illustrator,
Yeah.
and that was long enough ago where bands, albums covers were done by design agencies.
Yeah, yeah.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't just ask some artist to do that.
Uh-huh.
They would hire an agency because there's millions of dollars involved in albums back in the day.
Yeah.
And so I was hired by an ad agency who had the account. So I didn't.
Uh-huh.
I was just a hired gun.
But you
Yeah.
still did it.
That's
I remember
cool, though.
one of the things he gave me as a gift was the CD with the.
Uh-huh.
that.
But I periodically get an email from somebody asking if I have the original art. They want to buy it.
Yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon. Like you would have that.
Yeah.
Back when you
People are
did
super
illustrations,
into
you
that
don't
stuff.
get your art back. Somebody else.
Yeah.
owns it.
Yeah.
See now, you're going to do a show for us. You have a 2-person show. You're in our postcard show,
Yeah.
and we're going to put you in 2 of our group shows. We're going to keep you busy.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Please
And
do.
you're managing this.
Yeah.
And you're going to find some local talent.
Yeah.
That's what's going on in Alex's world right now.
That's right. It's
And
a
you
lot.
pinky
It is a
swore,
lot.
so you don't even have a soul anymore.
Yeah.
If you give up your soul when you pinky swear me.
That takes the pressure off.
There you go. All right, you two. I wanted to thank you both for doing the table talk with us tonight.
Yeah.
And working around all of our
Cheers.
schedules.
Cheers. Almost
Cheers.
out.
And we look forward to lots of great things with you in the future.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We appreciate having you as part of the Brassworks family.
Yeah.
Very
I
good.
appreciate it too. Cool.
Nice.
So we're live?
It's happening.
Are we happening? Is it happening?
I think so.
Okay.